It's not a length of time on your watch, it's a condition. When you're in the condition for a performance, you're performance ready. When you're not in a good condition to perform, you're not ready. Unfortunately, sometimes it's showtime. And so it's on you to make sure enough time is allotted so should you run into a snag, you can address it. So let's take this situation. We have a short performance and we're in good condition. This will apply to any style singing, whether it's opera or rock or jazz, choral, doesn't matter. When you're in that situation, you want to make sure that you've allotted yourself enough time so if you should run into a snag, that you've got time to address it. When preparing for a short performance and your voice is in good condition, I recommend starting with a descending glide. And while you're doing this, you're going to be assessing further your voice and your body. Are things feeling okay? Do you feel hydrated? Is there any dryness? Now's the time to address those situations, conditions. Start at a low volume. And of course we want to take it over the passaggio so that therein lies all of the birthplace of every bad behavior. It's usually born in that one space. So for me, if I take it, and I hear a lot of noise there and crap that I don't want to, take on a stage with me, I know I have to roll up my sleeves a little bit. So this is a short performance. So I'm not going to have time to get that, together during the performance. So I want that cleaned up before I step on stage. And here's where the length of the gig and the length of the warm-up is inverse. So I would stay right here on these keys. This is a little less noisy. There's a little gap in there. Continue to reinforce this without adding any extra effort until I get a nice smooth connection through there. That gives me the green light to move on to the next pitch. Now typically when the passaggio sits right smack in the middle of the glide, you'll have an easier time transitioning. It's when that passaggio is at the beginning or the end note that our brains like to cheat. So if I bring it here, and I feel my neck muscles kicking in to support that pitch, that's my brain taking a shortcut saying, that's close to the line. Let's just call that a low note and we'll work down from there. And again, that's a shortcut that's going to take away some nuance from me during a performance because I'll be a little heavy-handed around that area of my voice. So I'm gonna say no to my brain and I'm gonna say, nope, I want to maintain exactly the same quality that I started with. What I was able to do when the passaggio sat in the middle is what I want to be able to do when I start on that note or end on that note. Once that's cleaned up, now I'll come back upstairs and make sure that I'm not adding anything to support that end. These are little cheats and they go unnoticed if you're not detail oriented. So speaking of being detail oriented, what you want to make sure you're doing is modifying everything about your warm-up as you're going through your paces here. So when I'm using an E vowel, then I'll modify that to an OO vowel. Ooh. And if things are feeling good there, then I would open up the vowel to an Ah. Ah. Now mind you, I started in good condition, so I'm getting a fairly good response from my voice. So now I'm going to flip this glissando around. Ah. Now I'm rising in pitch, adding a little volume to it. Ah. Making sure that I've got clearance. Ah. volume stays the same at my command. Ah. If I'm going to be doing any belting or louder singing, now's the time when I'll test those waters. Ah. And I like to accompany the louder singing with a little body action. So what I'll be doing is just rolling my hands like this. Ah, to make sure that none of my shoulder muscles or neck muscles are going to jump on board and help me get a false pretense that I've got the stability and the strength. Ah, because if I'm pushing my voice, off stage, I'm going to then push my voice on stage. I want to program myself always that I'm using the minimal amount of effort to achieve any sound. That's my goal in a warm-up. That's my goal on stage. Now, to be honest, we lose that goal on stage sometimes. There's other issues that we have to deal with. So I want to make real sure that I've got that going on in spades when I'm warming up, that I'm not using any excess force. I'm not resorting to excess force. And so just before you step on stage, you want to make sure you're at the volume level that the performance will require. I'll tell you, it also depends on the material we're about to sing. So ironically, me and my rock band and an opera singer about to perform in an opera might have a very big opening number ahead of them, whereas a duo or a jazz trio might have some soft ballad as a first opening salvo. For a rock situation and for an opera situation, if there's more volume that's going to be required, I recommend putting the hands on the face and allowing that volume to come internally versus externally. That means we don't want to signal the body that we're about to project the voice via turning on your arms, your legs, your back, your shoulders. So that would look like this. And again, I'm just making sure I'm comfortable while doing it. And in this situation, I'm already feeling good. Let's say 10 minutes has gone by. I'm getting no yellow lights from my body. What I like to do is then just kind of launch into a Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. And that gives me that little transition I'm talking about of going from a warm-up to something more expected of me. And let's say that's my first song of the performance. So you're going to gradually ramp up the voice from a very low volume, whatever is easiest, to access that sound. But you may end with and if that's not comfortable, then you're not done yet with your warm-up. So make sure you leave enough time so your warm-up escorts you to exactly where you want to be for performance ready.